Hello guys, this is Naruto-kun and we are back with our new fanfic, which is What If Naruto Got Married to Sakura Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic, then please press the like button and please subscribe to the channel. It motivates me to upload more fanfic like these for you all. Now let's start the fanfiction. Naruto is asleep in his bed in his apartment. Just as the sun starts creeping in his window, he sits straight up in bed and takes a look around his surroundings. After seeing that everything is just as it should be, he starts thinking, tell me that was just a long bad dream. No kid, it was real, and just like I promised you, we are back before this whole thing started, Kyuubi said. Flashback. Naruto is on the ground panting. The fight with the members of Atasuka was over, but it came at a heavy price. Laying a few feet away, the leader of the evil group lay on the ground lifeless. A figure walks slowly over to the body. Ha 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 ha. I can't believe this. After all my planning and lying and decide, I am a mere minute from having the power to rule the world as I wish, and you demon and your pathetic friends tried to ruin all my plans. I still can't believe all of them would die just to protect you, and I got this body from that stupid girl that jumped in front of you at the last second before I could jump into your body. I am just going to kill you now and end your pathetic life. What am I going to do? I have almost no energy left, and I used almost all of Kyuubi's energy as well. All my friends are dead and the only one left alive is possessed by him now. I am just about ready to just accept death. Naruto thought. Kit, are you really going to give up and let all of you friend death mean nothing? I have no choice, Kyuubi. I don't have enough strength left to fight, and even if I did, I could not fight her, and all my friends would still be dead. Not if you are willing to make a deal with me. What are you talking about? Simple. I know a jutsu that can take you back in time. I am willing to help you for a price. What kind of price? Simple. I promise I will help you every way I can and help you make your life better so you can save your friends and her. The price of this is that you save every one of your precious people, stop those that hurt you and your friends, and protect your blood family. Blood family? What are you talking about, stupid fox? I don't have any blood family. Yes and no. Simple, Kit. Your mate there is with child and she was waiting to tell you until after this whole mess was over. Are you telling me the truth, fox? Yes, but that body switch just you will kill the baby not too long from now. The male brain does not hold the ability to keep an unborn child alive in the womb. Even if we beat him, we could not do anything to help. I don't want to see you suffer any more than you have because of me, so I want to change everything I can to make your life better. You will still know how to do all of your skill and have your chakra control, but you won't have as much chakra as you do now until you get your body into shape. Okay, Fox, I am going to trust you to help me. You promised to help me and I have no choice but to trust you. What do we have to do? All you have to do is let me have control of your hands and mouth so I can do the seals. Fine. Do what you need to and hurry. I think the psycho is getting ready to attack us. Here I go. Flashback end. So Fox, how far back did we go and what's the plan? Naruto thought. Simple. First, it is the day before you were tricked into sealing that scroll for the traitor. We are going to see the old man, get him to help us by telling him about everything that happens over the next couple of years, and we are going to use henge and get you some clothes and weapons, including a katana like you had before. After getting dressed like Kyuubi said, Naruto went to the Hokage tower and asked to see the old man. After being let in, Naruto took a seat across from the third. So Naruto, tell me what is so important that you asked to speak to me? The Hokage asked. Naruto shifted himself in his seat, looked at the floor, took a deep breath and started. I hope you don't have a lot planned for the day, because what I am about to tell you will make you want to hear every detail. First, I know about Kyuubi, but that is not important right now. Let's talk about a couple of snakes, a pervert frog and a gambling slug, and Uchiha Itachi. If you want to go ahead and call Anko, Kakashi, Jia, Asuma, and Ibiki, I have no problem telling them also, so that a way I won't have to retail it later. The Hokage looked at him for a moment, shocked that Naruto knew of Kyuubi, and called for the guard outside his office. Please bring Anko, Kurenai, Kakashi, Jia, Asuma and Ibiki to my office, the Hokage said. And tell Kakashi to put that pervert book away and don't be late. Naruto said. The Hokage looked at him and wondered what was going on. Hey old man, how old do you think I am right now? Naruto asked. You are 12. Why? The Hokage asked. Let's just say that my body may be 12 but my mind and memories are 17, but that's all I'll tell you until the others get here. A little while later, after everyone was there, the Hokage said, I want everyone in this room to listen to Naruto and give him your real attention. Then he looked at Naruto and nodded for him to begin. I know all of you are wondering what's going on. To tell the truth, it's a long story. I know most of you might be scared because of Kyuubi inside of me, but if it was not for him I would not have had a chance to do what had to be done. I know most of you have had a tab on me at one time or other, and you know I should be 12 years old. I actually am 17, but I used a jutsu that let me come back from a few years in the future and replace myself in my original body for this time. I did it because the tragedies that are coming are even worse than what Kyuubi did before he was sealed him in me. At that, the whole room stood open mouthed, looking like the world just ended. After a minute, everyone decided to continue listening and Naruto started Aegean. Okay, I don't know everything, but I can tell you what I do know. Tomorrow, after I failed the final exam for the third time, Mizuki tricked me into stealing the secret scroll. He said that if I could learn one jutsu from it then I would pass the genin exam, but he was actually planning on killing me, hitting the scroll and use it as a gift to the hidden village of sound to get power from one of her favorite pain in the butt, Orochimaru, but while I was waiting for him to come I learned this. Naruto put his in into a seal and said, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, at which point 5 clones of Naruto were standing in the room. I want each of you to touch one adult so they can see that you are actual Kage Bunshins. Question Naruto, how did you get the scroll? Kakashi asked. Simple, I just walked into this office and the old man was behind the desk there and I used this sexy no jutsu. Naruto transformed into his female form with clouds and all the men in the room sprouted nosebleeds passing out from blood loss, and Anko looked at Naruto smiling and said, Kid, I like you style. You are just as sadistic as I am. Kurenai just looked mad for a moment before saying, even though I think you are degrading women, you use a weakness of almost all men, beat them. Naruto looked at her and said, actually it only works on perverts, anyone else can withstand it. After Naruto had released his clones and everyone else woke back up, he started Aegean. I defeated Mizuki after he told me about Kyuubi before he tried to kill Iruka and me, so I got angry and drawed on Kyuubi's power directly, and using Mass Kage Bunshin Jutsu I made 1000 clones and just overpowered him. After that I was assigned to Kakashi team with Sakura-chan and Sasuke Bastard. We did a few mission before the Chunin exam. When Naruto froze when talking about mission, everyone noticed. Naruto, what were you going to say about your missions that made you freeze for a second? I want the truth, Naruto. The Hokage said. After looking at the ground for a few moments, Naruto started to speak. Fine, I'll tell you, but I still want to go on the mission. It was after we did some D-rank mission I complained and we got a C-rank mission. It was a bodyguard mission to protect a bridge builder from the land of Wave. We continued on the term that when his village got back on its feet they would pay for the A-rank mission price. Once we got to Wave we were attacked by Zabuza. He attacked Kakashi who defeated him but was out of chakra shortly after. A person by the name of Haku posed as a hunter nin and took Zabuza's body after we thought he was dead, but he was just in a semi-death state due to Haku's medical knowledge. Kakashi had us train on tree walking while he recovered. After about 2 weeks Zabuza attacked with Haku on the bridge. I was still at the house recovering from chakra exhaustion when 2 samurai attacked the bridge builder's daughter and grandson. I beat them and went to the bridge to help. When I got there, Sasuke bastard was hurt really bad from fighting Haku demonic ice mirrors jutsu. Even with his new Sharingan eyes he got in that battle, he wasn't able to keep up. Sakura-chan was guarding the bridge builder and Kakashi was fighting Zabuza. I went to help Sasuke, and once I got inside we both got hurt pretty bad, and Susuke got tricked into thinking Haku was going for a fatal attack on me and saved me. I thought he had died, and it was the first time I got the Cubus power and his rage, and I broke Haku's ice mirrors and was going to kill him when his mask fell off and I seen the boy I befriended during training. I let go of Cubus power and could not kill him. He asked me to kill him because he had lost his reason for living. I couldn't. Then Kakashi went to use Chidori on Zabuza and Haku intercepted the strike and allowed himself to be a human shield. Zabuza's arm were broke from Kunia damage. Gato appeared then with an army to finish us. I convinced Zabuza to avenge Haku the way Gato was disgracing his body. He killed Gato but died also from injuries. I want to try and save Haku and maybe Zabuza and bring him here to join Konoha. We could use their help with what to come. Everyone was hanging on to every word Naruto was saying. Naruto, I have a question for you. Why do you keep calling Sasuke, Sasuke bastard? Ibiki asked. Naruto looked at him like he was stupid and then said, "I'll get to that in a little while. If you wait, I'll be glad to answer. Where was I? Things went okay for a while until the Chunin exams. That was when all hell broke loose. Orochimaru sent a sound team in. He also has a leaf team led by Kabuto, his right-hand man, to spy for him and try to befriend the Rookie 9 and Gia team so he can get info on Sasuke and us. He wanted the Sharingan, even though he was unable to get it from Itachi. Then there is Gaara team." Kakashi asked. "Naruto, who is Gaara and why do you speak his name with pride like that?" Naruto laughed a moment and then spoke. "Gaara, Kankuro, and Temari are the children of the Kazakage. Gaara is the youngest, but he is also like me." "What do you mean like you?" Gia asked. Naruto said, "Simple, he is the vessel of Shukaka, the one-tailed raccoon demon, which reminds me when I see him I need to change his seal Aegean." "What?" everyone in the room asked. "Naruto, how can you know how to change a seal and why would you want to?" asked the Hokage. "Simple, you don't travel for 3 years as an apprentice of Ero Sennin without learning something, and the reason I would want to change his seal Aegean is because right now he can't sleep without the demon taking over his body and trying to destroy his soul. He is mentally unstable right now because they put a berserker seal on him, but once I changed his seal he became a good friend and ally for Konoha after he became Kazakage, but that is a little bit later. Anyway, back to where I was. During the survival part of the test, Orochimaru took on the disguise of some rain nin he killed, which reminds me, Mom, please be more careful with your kunia. Kyubi almost never quit laughing for a month after you licked the blood of my face when you threw it at me." Quote, "What? You can talk with Kyubi, how did that happen?" everyone asked. "Mom, who are you talking about?" Anko asked. Naruto laughed Aegean, then he looked serious for a moment. "I won't say if you don't want me to, but I also know who Dad is. If you remain silent I won't say, but keep Dad's name out of it for now. I want it to be a surprise." Everyone in the room looked around for a moment at the only 2 women in the room and Anko said, "So do you hate me or do you know the reasons?" Everyone looked at her and then at Naruto. Naruto said, "At first I did, but after time I got over it and accepted it, and I respected the reason. Dad was more of a shock to me. I have one request, that no one mention this any further until I give the okay. I will still call her Anko until it is safe to otherwise. Anyways, how much do you Gias really know about Kyubi? Have any of you ever really tried to figure out why he attacked?" Nobody said anything, and then Naruto started doing some seals and said Kyubi cage human bunshin. Everyone in the room except Naruto tensed for a moment with weapon drawn. When the smoke disappeared, a man dressed in black Junin uniform and a black cape on with red hair and red eyes was standing in the room with his hand together in front of him. Everyone started to relax a little when the man began to speak. "Hello. Thank you, Kit, for allowing me a chance to speak. I am Kyubi, but I am still sealed and all I am is a controlled cage bunshin. Naruto is allowing me to speak because you all need to know what really is going on and what is about to come. Hokage, if you would not mind, would you please summon Enma here? He will be able to confirm what I am about to say. The Hokage thought for a moment but decided to humor Kyubi for a moment. He then summoned Enma. After Enma appeared he spoke. Saratobi, why have you called me here? Enma asked. The Hokage did not say anything, instead he just pointed a finger at the bunshin of Kyubi. What happened next shocked everyone in the room. Lord Kyubi, I thought you were still sealed, and how did you get your human form Aegean? Enma asked. I am still sealed in my vessel, however I am completely a subordinate to him. No, Naruto here has proven to me he is worthy, and I have bestowed onto him and his future family the power over all of my kingdom, both here and in our world. Kyubi stated, and everyone in the room turned their head to Naruto and he began to speak. Kyubi has given me command of all of the summons he is over. I am also the ruler of the other eight-tailed beast if they were free. Unfortunately all of them are sealed in someone right now, which means I can't control them, and that gets back to the problem that we are trying to fix. Enma, would you please tell the other about Kyubi summoning? Of course, Lord Naruto. Kyubi is a different type of summon than the most of us. Kyubi had a total of 9 summon that are under his control: ape, frogs, slugs, falcons, cats, boars, golems, dogs, and foxes. He lives in the mortal realm but visits our realm when we have a dispute. Unfortunately, there is a loophole in the fox contract. At that moment, Naruto summoned a fox with a scroll on his back. This is the summon scroll for the foxes. I want everyone here to read this scroll. Naruto said. Everyone agreed and started reading. Fox summoning. The person WHO holds this contract and is able to summon a fox with it is able to make the summon do anything that they wish with or without the consent of the summon. If a summon refuses to do as the summoner order, then the summon is bound to do one task only with the full extent of said summon power or it, and any sub-summon are bound to the original summoner and all sub-summon contracts are voided. But if the summon does the one task, then they are allowed to locate a new person to possess the summon contract. This contract is made to allow humans the ability to summon any of the sub-summons of the foxes, with the exception the sub-summons have the right to test or refuse any summoner they do not see as worthy. The Lord Summon of Foxes is Kyubi WHO is bound to this contract forever. After everyone read the contract they started to get a bad feeling. Then the Hokage asked the question Naruto was waiting for, WHO. At the one word, Naruto unrolled the scroll to the last 2 names on the summon contract. The last one was Uzumaki Naruto, but the one that everyone in the room suddenly paled to was Orochimaru. I don't know how he got the summon contract. The last human who held it family died out over 200 years ago, so I did not know where it was until he summoned me. He wanted me to destroy a village in the world and to make him the demon lord of all summons. I refused. So he told me I was bound to do one order, and that was to destroy this village or he would get power over all of my subordinates. I could not do that my subordinates, so I had to fulfill his order, and the rest they say is history. Enma, if you don't mind, please let everyone know the truth of what happened. At that point Enma said goodbye and returned to his world. The room was silent for a while after that until Naruto had enough. Alright everyone, I know you all have a lot to think about, but I would like to tell you what is going to happen. Tomorrow I have a lot to do. I got training I need to do if possible. During the second part of the exam, Orochimaru will attack my team, and even when I lose my temper and Kyubi power helping me, I was not able to kill him. He put a curse seal just like yours, Anko, on Sasuke bastard, and leaves us after putting a 5-star seal on me. Me and Sasuke both passed the 2-round league, gets hurt real bad and almost had to quit being a ninja. Neji tried to kill Hinata. The 3 Sand Sibs all passed. Anyways, during the month between second and third exam, Kakashi trained Sasuke to fight Gaara even though we did not know he was a vessel at that time. Which reminds me, Kakashi, if you teach Sasuke bastard Chidori Aegean, it'll come for you with this. Naruto formed an Omega Rasengan purple. Everyone in the room immediately got tense at that moment because they all recognized the Rasengan. Naruto, who taught you the Rasengan? The Hokage asked. Ero Sennin. Naruto stated. Who is that? Kakashi asked. Naruto and Kyubi both started rolling on the floor at that, and everyone else in the room sweat dropped. After calming down a few minutes, Naruto sat down Aegean and asked, "Are you serious? You don't know who he is? I'll give you a hint, he's my dad's teacher." After that the Hokage coughed, but everyone else looked confused. Ibiki asked, "Who is your dad? I thought you were an orphan until you just told us about your mom." Everyone else just shook their head yes. Naruto looked at them, slapped his forehead, looked at the Hokage and said, "You really did do a good job of protecting that secret, thanks old man. Oh, that reminds me, while I am here I am going to go ahead and get my inheritance out of dad's safe, okay? Don't worry, I've been it before thanks to the Goidime Tsunade Ba-chan." Everyone else looked at each other and the Hokage. He just nodded yes. Then they followed Naruto with their eyes until he stopped in front of a picture of the Yondaime that was hanging on the wall. He started doing some hand signs and then said, "Henge replication release." At that moment the picture disappeared and replaced by safe. Naruto turned the combination lock a couple of times and then opened it and took out 2 scrolls, a journal and something wrapped in a cloth. Then he walked over to the window and looked at the Hokage Mountain. "Have any of you figured out yet who Ero Sannin is or my dad?" "Kakashi, think fast," Naruto yelled and threw the object that was still wrapped in cloth at Kakashi. Kakashi caught it and everyone else in the room was trying to figure out what was going on. The next thing anyone else saw was a yellow flash and Naruto was standing behind Kakashi with a hand on Kakashi book Ika Ika Paradise. Everyone else was completely speechless until Naruto spoke. "That was Dad's technique, Flying Thunder God. Now you know who Dad was and who Ero Sannin is, the one and only frog hermit Jiraiya aka Ero Sannin, who, if I am not missing my guess, in peeking at some women in a hot spring right about now. Anyways, you asked earlier how I was able to talk to Kyubi. I did not know how to control Kyubi's chakra or how to speak to him until Ero Sannin threw me off a cliff that was 2 miles high when he was teaching me how to summon, which reminds me, Kyubi, now that we went back before all this happens, do I still have my summon contract with the frogs or do I need to resign it?" "You still have the contract and you can summon them, but I think you should respect the frogs and sign it in this time frame also, just so they would respect you when you need them." "You're right, I really should get a hold of all the summoners and have them summon the bosses so I can meet them and find out if they need me for anything. Anyways, during the 3rd exam Orochimaru, who will be in Henge as the cage who he had killed, will attack the Hokage and be trapped inside a barrier made by 4 of his men that you can't get through. I don't know much about what happened there beside the fact that the old man died and sealed Orochimaru arms so he could not use them. Aegean, Gaara was mentally insane after being wounded by a Chidori from Sasuke and transformed into his half-demon state in the forest while Sand and Sound teamed up and attacked the village. We only had about 12 deaths including the Hokage, but the damage took a whole year to repair. I beat him and befriended him, but it was not until I changed his seal while on my 3-year training mission that he really became normal. Sand found the body of the cage and learned the truth about being tricked. They made a new alliance with us and we accepted, which was good in the long run. Now after the funeral Jiraiya took me with him to find Tsunade Ba-chan, at which point he taught me Rasengan in 2 weeks. We were attacked by Itachi and his partner. Sasuke somehow showed up and got his butt kicked. They are a part of an organization named Akatsuki. I can't wait to meet Itachi. Aegean, I've got a genjutsu that will render the Mangekyo Sharingan useless. That will be the last day he will ever be able to use his Sharingan. Naruto said, and everyone else was shocked at the statement. Kakashi asked, "How do you know it will work?" "Simple, when I used it on him during the last." Naruto had a faraway look in his eye for a moment. "Battle, I was able to permanently blind him with it." Naruto, I know what you were just thinking, and if this works then we won't have to worry about. Looking around room and then to Naruto and seeing him shake his head continued, your fiancé and soon-to-be child. QB stated. Everyone else got the idea that that was a touchy subject and left it alone for no. Naruto sighed and continued, we found Tsunade and Shizune Nichan. However, Orochimaru also found her and wanted her to heal his hands. He offered to bring back her brother and fiancé back to life. In exchange he gave her 1 week to decide. Me and her got into an argument and we made a bet. I had to learn the third step of Rasengan in 1 week. If I lost she had my wallet, but if I won she would become Hokage and she would acknowledge me as a possible Hokage and give me her grandfather necklace. At the end of the week there was a big battle. I won the bet, but Orochimaru escaped. After we got back in Tsunade Ba-chan, healed Kakashi and Sasuke from Itachi Mangeku's Sharingan attack. Shortly after that Sasuke left the village to join Orochimaru to get enough power to kill his brother. The Sound 5 that came to get him upgraded his curse seal to the 2nd level, which is equal to me with QB power and a 2-tail. After the 4 Genin and 1 Chunin, Shikamaru went after him. We started getting into one-on-one battles. Lee followed us and accidentally switched his Metacane bottle for sake. Gia listened very careful. Don't ever give Lee sake, ever. He is a drunken master. Anyways, it wound up with me and Sasuke bastard at the Valley of the Ends and we had a huge battle. In the end I was not able to bring myself to kill him then. Next time I don't know. I received 2 upgraded Chidoris to the chest. They were even more powerful than a level 2 Rasengan, and he still did not get his final Sharingan. He still defected. If it had not been for QB continuously creating new blood I would have died. Luckily Kakashi, after finding Sasuke gone, was able to make it to me, and the Sand Sib were here at that time and came after us to help. Gaara incased me, Neji and Kiba all in his sand coffins and made it like a layer of skin around us or we would have all died. Tsunade helped heal me even though no one else would, and Shizune helped Choji after he took his special family 3 food pill. Naruto said. Orochimaru had to wait 3 years to take over Sasuke's body because he had to change from pain. Naruto said but was interrupted by the Hokage. What do you mean by switch body? He has an immortality jutsu that he got from the leader of Akatsuki that lets him switch bodies with you. Only thing he has to do is have a drop of blood from you in his body and he can do it to you. Once he got Sasuke's body he was nearly impossible to beat. We had missed saving him by 1 day. Jiraiya, Sakura-chan, and myself went to get him. Sakura-chan got captured by Kabuto and when we went to save them I saved Sakura-chan while Jiraiya was killed by Orochimaru in Sasuke's body. I was able to kill him but in the end, however we did not know it but Kabuto was a member of Akatsuki as a spy. After that me and Sakura-chan became a 2-man team, in Abnu for 2 reasons. 1 so we could be away from here for long period of time and 2 make it hard for Akatsuki to track me down. Unfortunately they decided to do something that would force me into the open. Konoha was next to last and when they attacked us the only reason Gaara was alive was because an elder knew a jutsu to restore a person life in exchange for their life. They were forced to go to the sand village and Gaara protected them. When me and Sakura found out everything we went to sand and made preparations to attack. Tsunade, Gaara, Hinata, Sakura, Kankuro, Tenten, Ino, myself and 100 Junin, 200 Chunin and 500 Genin went attack Akatsuki. We killed all of them sort of. What do you mean sort of, Naruto? Asama asked but Naruto was lost in his emotion at the time so Kyuubi decided to continue. He means that it was very costly. In the end there was only 3 people left alive. Him, Sakura and the leader of Akatsuki. He had Sakura hostage and she was bleeding from a small cut on one of cheeks and he licked the blood of her face to tease Naruto. He threw her to the ground and started beating Naruto. He was super strong. Whenever one of the demon hosts nearly died he switched bodies combined with the demon and took them. When he switched bodies Aegean, he had 8 of the 9 of us. He had already gotten some blood of Naruto during the battle and he was prepared to take over Naruto, but at the last second she jumped in front of him and the leader had her body. Then I explained to him a plan to change things because even in he killed the leader his only real reason for living would be dead also. Then we made a deal, he gets my full power knowledge and support and all he has to do is protect everyone precious to him he can. Then we came back here to this day and the rest you know. If no one has any objections, can someone take him home and keep him safe tonight because I think he is mentally exhausted and I am out of chakra so CYA. And with that the clone of Kyuubi disappeared into smoke. Everyone sat in silence for a while then the Hokage told everyone, I want all of you to go over this info in your heads and come up with ideas on how to help him Asama. Please take him to my home tonight for me and stay there until I get there. I need a few minutes to write a couple of letters. Dismissed. Everyone left slowly remembering everything they heard. Kakashi and Ibiki walked over to the Hokage and waited for him to notice them. Yes, what can I do for you two? Kakashi spoke first. I had my Sharingan on and as far as I can tell he was telling the whole truth. Is it true he is Sensei's son? The Hokage noted a yes then looked at Ibiki who began to speak. I hate to say it but I believe him also. Not only that I am worried, I don't know how he can even stand to live right now from the horrors he spoke about. The Hokage smiled a small smile and spoke, I think I know that answer, and if either of you have heard him talk before about his dream I think you would agree. He may not be old enough but mentally and spiritually he is a Hokage. I honestly think he could be the Rokudaime Hokage since he sees Tsunade as the Goidaime. If he is able to stop these tragedies from happening then I hope the people of Konoha can prove they are worthy of him. The other two just nodded in agreement. The next day Naruto awoke in a strange bedroom. Hey, what happened after I passed out last night? I told them about the final battle and our agreement including the aftermath. Sorry but they needed to know what was also driving you. You were in the old Mon's house and he has checked on you a lot last night. I think you should talk to him and see if we can come up with a plan. Agreed Fox, I really need all the help I can get. Naruto thought. After getting up and stretching he went to the restroom, freshened up and went downstairs. When he got down there the Hokage and his wife were drinking some tea at the table. Naruto walked over and bowed to them. Thank you Hokage for letting me sleep here last night. I did not realize I was so tired. Sorry about any inconvenience. The Hokage and his wife bowed also and then the Hokage said, It's alright Naruto, yesterday was very trying for all of us. You may speak freely here, I have already told my wife everything and she would like to help also any way she can. Now I want you to bring the Kyuubi Bushin out so you don't have to be a middleman. Naruto agreed and made the appropriate seals and said Kyuubi cage human bunshin. After the clone of Kyuubi appeared they all sat down and discussed ideas. After a little while they came up with a couple of ideas. Okay, let me get this straight. Mizuki still goes down. You have sent for Tsunade and Jiraiya and you are going to have Kakashi, specifically train Sasuke and let him be a hunter nin after he goes through enough training. You are going to have me and Sakura partner train with Tsunade and Jiraiya and get special training so we can go after Akatsuki and Orochimaru and thanks to Kyuubi's little surprise Sakura will can get all of her memories from the future up to the point where she entered my mind after the mental attack, so we can even get stronger faster. Naruto said. The Hokage agree and said, this way she will know why you are pushing yourself and she can push herself also. Plus it will give a chance to get Orochimaru and Kabuto before they have a chance to get Sasuke. At about 10 in the morning Naruto left the Hokage office with Ibiki after explaining that he needed to get some new clothes and specific weapons made. They arrives at the weapon shop that belonged to Tenten family. When they enter Naruto walked up to the counter where Tenten was sitting and she started saying, Hello, I am Tenten and welcome to the Wolfclaw weapon shop. Could not find the name for the shop, how can I help you? Naruto smiled and said, Hi, I am Uzumaki Naruto and I am here to get some weapons made and buy some also. I was told this is the best place to get special weapons made, so I would like first 3 set of shurikens, exploding tags, and 3 sets of kuniyas. I also need a single-sided katana specifically made. I need it 4 foot tall, and I need these seals embedded into the blade, handing her 3 scrolls with seals in it, and I want the design on it. Even though it may sound bad or stupid, but I need it to be a picture the Kyuubi standing in front of the gates of Konoha with the Yondaime standing on Kyuubi's head and show it protecting Konoha from a 10-headed snake. Also need the handle to be 1 foot long with theses seals embedded into it, handing 3 more scrolls, and I want the design on it to be a spiral, a cherry blossom, and the leaf symbol. Those seals I am asking put in it have a strange effect on the sword depending on who holds it. I also need this handing a small vial with blood in it embedded in the "You make that for me." Tenten nodded and said, "That is an unusual design, but it won't be too hard. We can have it in less than a week. Anything else?" "Actually yes, but this is even more specific. I need about 1,000 of these kuniya, handing a 3-prong kuniya specifically made, and I need them encased into summon scrolls with the exception of 11 of them. I need the seals that is engraved in that one on all of them. Is your dad here? If he is, can you show him that and ask him to throw it?" Tenten nodded but did not understand why Naruto needed these specific weapons though, but she left to meet her dad. After Tenten left, Ibiki asked, "Okay, I understand about the kuniya, but what's so special about the sword and the blood?" Naruto smiled and said, "The 3 seals for the blade make it where the blade can never dull or break, allow Kyuubi's power to flow through it and my element of wind to flow through it without breaking, and the last seal makes it where the sword will grow with me, changing shape and weight to make it perfect for me. The 2 seals in the handle make it where the handle can withstand Kyuubi chakra without melting and allow me to summon it to my hand with a simple hand seal, and the last seal and blood go together. It makes it so no matter what, that sword will be unable to cut anyone who has my genetic markers in them, so even if someone has my blood in them, it would be useless and the sword can still cut them, so unless they are a descendant of me that sword can cut them, but my family line would be safe from it. Speaking of, be right back." Suddenly there was a yellow flash and Naruto was gone. Meanwhile with Tenten, "Dad, some blonde kid named Naruto just walked in asking for a couple of weapons to be made. First was a weird sword. I have all the detail wrote down, but then he asked for 1,000 weird 3-prong kuniya in 2 weapon scrolls, and he wanted 11 of them to be left out of the scroll." Tenten's dad, Dustin, I could not find her dad's name, got curious when his daughter described the kuniya, so he asked, "Did the boy say anything about the kuniya or anything like that?" "Actually, he specifically asked me to bring it to you and have you throw it someplace safe, said you would know why." Tenten handed the kuniya to her dad, who when he saw it he accidentally dropped it, and suddenly there was a yellow flash and Naruto was standing right where the kuniya landed. "Hello there. I bet you got some questions and I will agree to answer them, but both you and your daughter have to keep it an S-class secret, and I have Ibiki with me in the other room so he can verify what I am going to tell you and make sure of what info you have, okay?" Both Tenten and her dad nodded and Tenten went and got Ibiki. After everyone was sitting in the living room, Naruto spoke, "Okay, this is an S-class secret I am fixing to say, so you cannot repeat it, okay? My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I am the son of Uzumaki Aish, otherwise known as Yondaime Hokage. I am also the living prison for the Kyuubi. Don't worry about the old Mont's law, the loophole, for it is I have the right to decide who in my generation knows about it. And I know you are probably thinking that I am lying about this, but Dad could not kill it since it was immortal, instead he sealed it in me. I actually know more than what you may think I do. I want you to know the truth of what happened 12 years ago so that you won't be afraid of me or the strange weapons that I am asking you to make. As you know, the Kyuubi attack here, but what you don't know is that Kyuubi was bound by this, holding out the summon scroll for foxes to do what it says, and I know you are both smart, so when you finish the scroll, read the name on it before mine, then you should be able to figure out what actually happened." After letting them both read it and then saw the next to last name, Dustin nodded and said, "I understand, know what happened, and I respect you for what you just told and showed us. If you need any weapons, please come here anytime and we will work on your order as best as we can. Naruto nodded and said, I thank you for hearing me out and listening to me. I have already given my orders for the sword I need. I'll explain about the seals and blood. No, the 3 seals for the blade make it where the blade can never dull or break. Allow my element of wind to flow through it without breaking. And the last seal makes it where the sword will grow with me, changing shape and weight to make it perfect for me. The 2 seals in the handle make it where the handle can withstand my chakra without melting and allow me to summon it to my hand with a simple hand seal, and the last seal and blood go together. It makes it so no matter what, that sword will be unable to cut anyone who has my genetic markers in them. So even if someone has my blood in them, it would be useless and the sword can still cut them. So unless they are a descendant of me, that sword can cut them, but my family line would be safe from it. I will probably have another sword I need made, but a little different soon if things go like I hope. But anyway, I'll come by tomorrow and get my standard weapon, and I will need some weights also, but I need a simple seal put on them. Okay, can I have a scroll real quick so I can write the seal on it? Tenten pulled out a blank scroll and Naruto drew a seal on it that neither Tenten or her dad ever seen before. Okay. This seal is called a gravity seal. You put it on weights and clothes, and what it does is based on how strong you are when you first use it. It will double the gravity on you based on your strength, so that you always have what feels like 20 pounds of dead weight on you no matter how strong you get, but if you dispel the weight you will move like you walking on air. I will give you this seal as a sign of trust to pay you for respecting me and also for your craftsman skill. Please, when I come by tomorrow, add the price of the blank scroll to my bill. I'll always do my shopping here and try to get any teammates I have to come also. Here is $500 as advance payment for the weapons. We still got to go get me some new clothes. I hope you have a good day. Oh, and Tenten, when I come by tomorrow, I'll bring a seal for you to help with Lee and Gia. And with that they left the weapon shop. Next, Naruto and Ibiki went and got him some black and green Junin outfits with a coat that had straps for his sword. And lots of pouches for weapons and scrolls. But all of them had the spiral design on them. After they left, Naruto said, Ibiki, I need you to take me to school and make it look like I have been pulling another prank on the old man. I know I have asked too much of you already, but I can't just make it seem I have changed so much overnight or somebody might get suspicious. I also know you will be the examiner for the written test of the Chunin exam. Don't worry, I'll keep my mouth shut unless I see one of the rookie 9 losing confidence. I will try to get you all the info I can on everything so you can try to be prepared. It really bites sometimes to be hated. Anyways, I have a fake scroll of sealing made so it will be safe tonight for Mizuki, and I want you to know I have a seal that will make it easier to control him later so he does not escape Aegean. Ibiki looked at him and started to laugh but did a half smile instead. Naruto, you are an amazing man. I think I would be honored to serve with someone like you. You have an incredible intelligence even if you were treated bad. I think if things work out the way we hope favorably, then I might even have a position for you in intelligence. Naruto smiled. Thanks, Ibiki. Oh yeah, I just remember your brother is doing okay. He is in Tea Country right now. He is an assistant to a good man. One of the 2 bosses on the island, but the other boss is a bad man. If you can, you might want to have some of your men go on that mission when it comes. The other boss hired Missing Nin from here and he has the second's legendary sword. It took a Chidori and a Rasengan to beat the main enemy ninja, but those were some of the best times back then. Well, we are here at the school so might as well go into dumb mode. Iruka was sitting in his class getting ready to do the final test when Ibiki came dragging Naruto into class by his collar of his orange jacket. Naruto screaming, "Let me go, come on. You know I was only trying to graffiti the Hokage Mountain Aegean, so why are you so upset about?" The class starts laughing and Iruka just shakes his head, then stands up and walks to Ibiki and Naruto. Ibiki then says, Naruto, if I catch you doing that Aegean, I'll put you into an interrogation session for 12 hours, and that goes for anyone else also. Then he lets go of Naruto and walks out of class and sets off to the Hokage office. Iruka then says, "Class, Settle down or else. And Naruto, why do you always have to try pranking and not taking class serious? Okay, we are going to start the final test. Know when I call your name, follow me into the other room. After everyone else did tier, it was Naruto's turn, so he failed on purpose and acted like he did the first time. Meanwhile with Ibiki, sir, he can be one heck of a leader one day if he wanted to be. You should have been there to see how he handle each situation. Anyways, that is my report and notice of who know the truth. I have everyone who was here last night standing by to spring the trap, and Naruto already made a fake scroll, so all you have to do is say as someone stole the scroll tonight after 5 and say look for Naruto because he may have seen who done it since he was here before it was stolen. That way no more hate will be on him and Mizuki can be caught. Fast forward to the forest that evening. Iruka-sensei, I see you found me, huh? Mizuki is going to be so surprised when he see what I already learned. Just then a large shadow shuriken came straight at Iruka's back. Naruto pushes him to the side and then gets hit by it. Iruka starts to scream but stops when he see a log laying where Naruto just was. Then all of a sudden Jia, Ibiki, Anko, Asama, and Kakashi all appear, and Mizuki, who was just standing behind Iruka, gets ready to attack. Suddenly 5 Narutos appear. The first 2 kick Mizuki in the air and yell, "UZ!" The next clone jumps on the air and kicks him higher and screams, "I ma!" The next clone jumps on the back of the last remaining clone and kicks him even higher and screams, "Ki!" Then all the clones disappear and the real Naruto appears above Mizuki and screams, "Naruto Rendon!" and drop kicks Mizuki back down to earth, and Naruto lands next to him afterwards and says to the Junin who watched with amusement, "He's all yours, Ibiki, have fun." Iruka-sensei, want to go with me to the Hokage Tower? After we get there I'll let the old man tell you everything. A few hours later Iruka was still sitting in the Hokage office, mouth wide open in disbelief after he hears everything that will happen and the truth about Kyuubi. Iruka said, "So Orochimaru is to blame for everything back then. I'm sorry Naruto for everything that has happened to you. I wish we could tell everyone about the truth, but that would waste this whole chance Naruto took, and I don't think it would be safe for him to do it, Aegean. So what's the plan now?" "Well, we got team selection tomorrow, and the plan is Sasuke get picked as Kakashi pet project, and then the next day Team 7 had been waiting for Their Sensei. After everyone left, Naruto started talking. "Hey Sakura-chan, I was just wondering, what type of ninja you want to be? A genjutsu specialist or maybe a medic nin? Or maybe I don't know, have you thought about what kind?" Sakura first was annoyed by Naruto, but now she wanted to hear what he was going to say next, so she said, "I don't know why." Naruto smiled and then says, "Well, I remember reading about the differences in male and female ninjas, and I remembered that it said female ninjas had better chakra control and mental paralysis than male, but they lack high volumes of chakra like males. But even though males have more chakra, they lack the control females do, and I know females make better medic nin and genjutsu specialists, so I just thought I would ask to see if you had thought about that." Sakura instantly hit him over the head and says, "Baka," but she was thinking that was actually some smart thinking and he was being nice for once, but I can't let Sasuke know. "Sorry Sakura. I just was wondering because if you were interested in being a medic nin, then I was going to give you some medic scrolls an old friend gave me when I was younger. I never had good enough chakra control to do them right. I only know how to do a basic scan and light healing. If you change your mind, I could let you have them free since we would be on the same team and give you a chance to be more important to the team. I mean, sure, you could be a powerhouse, but even powerhouses get hurt and need medic. Some even say they are the strongest member of the group because of all the torture they go through so they can save lives." Just then Kakashi walks in and tells them to follow him to the training grounds. When they get there, Kakashi is facing the memorial stone and says, "The names on this stone are heroes. They died protecting this village and their loved ones. I want to each take a moment to read the names on this stone and see if there are any relations or friends you know." Each took a moment to look over it, and then Kakashi started saying, "This is the bell test. There's one bell only. The person who can take the bell will pass, the other two fail and will have to go back to the academy. You have 3 hours, remember to look beneath the beneath. Ready, begin. At that all three took off. Kakashi knows Naruto said he would work on teamwork with Sakura and give Sasuke the reason to be taught by Kakashi. He scans the area and can feel Sasuke and Sakura but can't even tell where Naruto is. Damn, he is good, his stealth is as good as any ABNU I know, maybe even better than mine. Just then he hears Sakura's muffled scream. So Naruto already there. Back with Sakura. Naruto had just appeared beside Sakura and quickly puts his hand over her mouth to keep her quiet. Sakura, it's just me, relax, I did not mean to upset you so much. I didn't want to give you position away either, that is why I covered your mouth. Follow me so we can work up a plan and talk. If you want to hurt me, at least wait until we are out of earshot. Naruto says in a whisper. Then he removes his hand and slowly sneak away from Kakashi with Sakura behind him. Sakura thinking Sasuke must think I am weak, how did I get stuck with a baka like Naruto? At least he is trying to use his brain. Sasuke is thinking I must get that bell, I can't let myself fall behind, I must get stronger so I can kill my brother. Okay Sakura, you can hit me now and yell at me. I know you would rather have Sasuke help you get past this test, but I know he wants to be the hero and do everything on his own. I think that was why our sensei asked us to look at the name first. Remembering those who died protecting their friends is what a hero does. Doing everything yourself is a good way to make sure you die alone and not remembered. So here is my head, go ahead and hit me. While he is saying that, he sits down on his knees and put his hands together in front of him. Sakura is floored by this. Man, how does he know what buttons to push to make me not stay mad at him? Get up Naruto. I hate to say it, but since we don't know where Sasuke is, I guess I got no choice but to team up with you. Naruto stands up and surprise her Aegean when he says, since there is only one bell and I know you already know everything at the academy and I passed by luck, when we get the bell I will let you have it so that away you can go and become a great ninja. I am not tricking you or anything, so let's plan what to do. 30 minutes later, Sasuke has stayed silent waiting for his chance to strike when Naruto suddenly starts fighting Kakashi. He used a loose form of Taijutsu but makes it seem like he is actually trying. Kakashi gets an idea and he appears behind Naruto with his hand in a tiger sign and says, Konoha's secret art, 1000 years of pain. He then sticks his fingers in Naruto and Naruto schemes and flies into the air. He then turns into a puff of smoke and the real Naruto jumps out of the ground at Kakashi's feet. He then starts attacking Kakashi, luring him closer to Sasuke's position. Then Sakura launches the traps she set up as kunya, rocks, twigs and anything else she thinks might help to distract Kakashi come flying at him and leading him closer to Sasuke. Then a kunya Naruto throws cut the string holding the bell to his pants. Naruto charges Kakashi, luring him away from him, and Sakura run toward where the bell is to get it while Naruto is still attacking. Just as Sakura starts to reach and grab the bell, Sasuke jumps on her, knocking her to the ground, and Sasuke reaches and gets the bell. Kakashi and Naruto, who were only actually doing a heavy spar, watch everything, and when Sasuke hits Sakura he felt a little killer intent coming from Naruto, and when Kakashi look into his eyes he notices they are red slits, but then Naruto closes his eyes and a couple of tears fall down, and then when he opens them they are their normal blue. Kakashi holds up his hand and Naruto stopped. They both look at Sasuke and Naruto walks past him to go check on Sakura while Sasuke walks up to Kakashi with a smirk on his face. You okay Sakura-chan? You need any help getting up? You almost had it and the plan did work, but Sasuke outsmarted me since it was my idea to lure Kakashi away so you could safely get the bell. Naruto says. He was thinking though, Kyuubi, I wish I could kill him right now if we ever get a chance to. If he betrays us, Aegean, flash me this memory. Deal, Kit. That Gia is even worse than me and that's pretty bad. I think we should check on your mate. If you don't mind I can check and see if there is major damage and heal that bruise on your cheek and you want me to. Meanwhile Sakura had just set back up from being hit by Sasuke, she thinking I can't believe he hit me like that and on purpose just to pass a stupid test. I thought he liked me a little. Oh great, here comes the baka. I wonder what he is going to say. You okay Sakura-chan? You need any help getting up? You almost had it and the plan did work, but Sasuke outsmarted me since it was my idea to lure Kakashi away so you could safely get the bell. Is he actually trying to be nice? If you don't mind I can check and see if there is major damage and heal that bruise on your cheek and you want me to. Well, my day can't get any worse, might as well let him try and heal me. Sakura nods okay and says, you sure you can do this? I mean, you did say you're not very good at it. Naruto smiles and says, you don't get hit as many times as I do without learning how to heal some of the bruises. Then his hand turns a light green and then closes his eyes and Naruto holds his hand over Sakura's face and slowly heals it, and he also heals the spot on her back where Sasuke hit her. Then he opens his eyes and the glowing stops and he asks, does that feel any better? I could not find anything else wrong, but if you start hurting you might go get checked out just to be safe. Sakura thinks, hey, I feel pretty good now. The baka actually can be useful and he acts like he is actually concerned, not like Sasuke. I need some time to think. Naruto might have a point about being a medic nin. Well, if you are not hurting anymore we may as well go congratulate Sasuke and find out what we have to do now. Naruto said, as he helped Sakura to her feet. While they were walking over to Kakashi and Sasuke, Naruto was doing one-hand ABNU signals telling the person who was watching to proceed. Well, good for you Sasuke, you did what you had to make sure you won at all cost. So Kakashi-sensei, what happens now? Asked Naruto. Well, what happens now is simple. My test was unfair for a reason. I am a former ABNU captain and my skills are too good for training a genin team, so I asked the Hokage to let me select from my group one person to train. I am going back to being a hunter nin and track down missing nin like Orochimaru and Itachi, so I had decided that whichever one got the bell would be the one to become my apprentice to train to be an assassin. I guess that means Sasuke will be my apprentice. Kakashi stated. Just then a member of ABNU appeared and said, Kakashi, have you been able to select which one? Kakashi nodded. Then the other two are to report to the Hokage Tower at 4 this afternoon. Then the ABNU disappeared. Well Sasuke, let's go and get started training, follow me. Good luck Naruto and Sakura, hope everything works out. Kakashi said as him and Sasuke left. Naruto hid a smirk then turned to Sakura and said, well that stinks. But at least we may not have to go back to the academy. Want to go get something to eat? My treat anywhere you want. I got some stuff I need to pick up. If you don't mind I can pick them up on the way if you want to. Then after we eat we could go on to the Hokage Tower to find out what's up. But, if you got other plans we can always just meet up at the tower. Your choice. Naruto said. What do you need to pick up? Sakura asked. I got some new clothes that I had delivered to a friend's weapon shop to get some custom work done, plus my weapons I need to check on. Naruto said but thought, plus I want to give you some time to get used to me if things are going to change. Sure, why not, but why don't we just get some ramen because I know that is all you really eat anyways. After Naruto and Sakura left Naruto's favorite ramen shop Ichiraku, they arrived at the weapon shop where Tenten lived. Hello Eiji and Naruto, I got your standard order finished but Dad said he needed you to test something about those 2 special orders you made. If you will follow me I show you to where he is and you can come also miss. Tenten said smiling. My name is Haruno Sakura, and I would like that. As they were going through the shop Tenten stopped and said, Naruto, why don't you try some of those on and make sure the seals are right before we get to Dad. Don't want to lose a special customer cause of a small mistake. Naruto agreed and went into the dressing room and changed into his black outfit and activated the gravity seals on everything. After he was sure everything worked he turned them off and left the changing area still in his new outfit. Naruto said, The seals worked great, Tenten. It might take a couple of days to get used to it, so I won't be able to use I while doing these tests, so I already cancelled the effect. That reminds me, let me see your forehead protector, Tenten. Tenten nodded and handed her forehead protector over. He took his off as well. Sakura, let me see yours also, you're going to love this. Sakura was curious, so she agreed and handed it over to Naruto. He quickly wrote out a seal and laid all 3 forehead protectors on, and then he bit his thumb and touched the seal with his blood. It glowed white for a moment and then stopped. Naruto handed everyone their forehead protector and then said, if you ever have anyone who just love to scream like Lee, Guy, and Ino, then all you have to do is touch your forehead protector with your thumb and it will activate, and no matter how loud someone scream, it will sound just like we're talking right now. Okay, where is your dad, Tenten? Tenten looked at Naruto and said, if this seal works like you just said, I am going to find you and kiss you. Naruto laughed with a little and Sakura got an evil look on her face. No more hearing Ino scream all the time. If Naruto is telling the truth, I might just kiss him also. Huh, where did that come from? Okay, dad is just over there, so I'll see you two later. I got to go take care of the shop, Tenten said. Naruto started to walk to Dustin when he raised a 3-pronged kunai in his hand and showed it to Naruto from across the room. Then he threw it at a train log. When it hit, a yellow flash appeared where Naruto was. That scared Sakura, and then she noticed Naruto was standing by the strange kunai pulling it out of the training log. He then examined it and had a smile on his face. Then he said, exact detail, perfectly balanced, and the seal worked better than the original. I am indeed impressed. Then the man said, thank you, Naruto. Now that I know how they need to be done, I can have your order done by next Monday, but I need you to look at the sword. I am done except adding the detail design, but I was hoping you could try it because I don't know if what it did is the way those seals work for sure. Sure, let me see it and I will be able to tell real quick if it works right. Naruto said as Dustin brought a sword case over and laid it next to where Naruto was. Naruto opened the case and grabbed the sword, and instantly it changed shape a little and the weight changed also. Sakura, I need you to help me with the last 2 seals test and if they work right. Sakura walked over to Naruto and he handed her the sword that transformed Aegean perfect for her. Okay, let me explain what I need you to do. First seal I want to test is the bloodline seal, which means that sword should never be able to cut me no matter what. And the second test after we try the first test is to take the sword to the far side of the room and see if I can call it to me. Okay, first test, Sakura, try as hard as you can to cut off my arm. Don't worry, it won't cut me. Sakura raised the sword above her head and brought it down as hard as she could with her eyes closed. When she opened them, Naruto still had his arm out and the sword was resting on Naruto's skin, never even a scratch. After seeing that seal worked, and Sakura took it as far as she said could, and then the sword was back in Naruto's hand and a smile on his face. After Naruto paid, they left for the Hokage office. On the way to the tower, Sakura asked, Hey Naruto, I got a couple of questions for you. Why did Tenten say that you are a special customer, and how do you know so much about seals? I thought you were dead last, and what's with that weird flash technique you used? I never seen anything like it before. When Sakura finished, Naruto stopped for a moment and looked at the ground sadly for a moment, then he put on his fake smile mask and said, I will tell you everything you want to know, but let's get to the Hokage office first. Okay. At that point he started walking Aegean and Sakura followed him slowly, but her thoughts ran a lot faster than that. Why did he look sad for a moment? What is he hiding? And how did he get back smiling Aegean so fast if he was sad? After they got to the Hokage tower and entered the office of the Hokage, Naruto walked in and took a seat by the window, and Sakura took a seat right in front of the Hokage's desk. The only other people in the room was the Hokage and Ibiki. Hello Hokage, what can we do for you today? Said Sakura. The Hokage glanced at Naruto and he shook his head a little so the Hokage would know to go on. Ibiki did a couple of seals and activated a silence jutsu. Then the Hokage started talking. Sakura, I have asked you to come here today so that you can know the truth. What I am going to tell you is the biggest secret in the entire world. Once I start telling you this information, you will have to stay here until the very end. I will allow questions because this concerns you in a way greatly. I know you might get scared or upset with some of this, but you must stay to listen to it all. Then you will be given two choices. Do you understand the importance of this information? Sakura sat there for a moment and shook her head yes slowly. After seeing this, the Hokage smiled and began, I might as well start with the past and go forward from there, Sakura. First off, you and every child in this village has been lied to about some information on what happened 12 years ago when the Kyuubi attack. Even most of the adults don't know the whole truth because we did not have all the information that we have now. Naruto, please bring me the summon contract and let Sakura read it and bring out our other friend. Sakura turned to Naruto, who was doing some hand seals, and said, Kyubi cage human bunshin. After the smoke cleared, a man with red hair and red eyes dressed in black stood there and he held out the scroll the Hokage asked for. Sakura was a little nervous. After the Hokage got the scroll, he handed it to Sakura. Sakura, this is the summon scroll for foxes. Please read over it very carefully and read the last two names of who signed it. After Sakura read it over a couple of times, she looked at it and asked, what does this mean? I don't understand. If Kyuubi is dead, then why is this important? Naruto interrupted at this time and said, Sakura, we were told Kyuubi was killed by the Yondaime, but that's not the truth. Yondaime knew that he could not kill something that was immortal, so he made a deal with the death god. He sacrificed his life to seal the Kyuubi into a newborn baby to make it mortal. But what most of this village does not know is that the baby he sealed it into was his own child. But the real kicker of it is Kyuubi actually did humans a favor in a weird, sick, twisted way. But thankfully, with the information you have in your hand there, we know who truly was responsible for the attack. An S-class criminal named Orochimaru. He wanted Kyuubi to destroy every village so he could be the ruler of the world, but Kyuubi refused, so Orochimaru made him attack us instead since he hated this village the most. Kyuubi had to do as he said or he would have gotten control of all of the summoned creatures under Kyuubi, and that would have been worse. After giving her a few moments to review that information, she asked, who was the child and how do you know this stuff? Naruto, I mean you are the dead last of our class. Naruto smiled at that and looked at her and said, remember asking me what that flash technique I used at the weapon shop this afternoon? Do you remember what Yondaime nickname was? Sure, he was also known as the Yellow Flash because of some Youa the child, his son. Naruto looks at her and said, I knew, I always loved how smart you were. The Hokage decided it was time to continue at that point. Sakura, that is only a small part of the secret that we need to tell you. The rest of it you will have to listen to and believe it no matter how crazy it sounds because it's true. I will let our other guest fill you in on the rest for now. Sakura is basically in a shock state at the moment, and Kyuubi starts by looking at Naruto and then Sakura. Hey kid, I think in all the years we known her this is the first time she was completely at a loss of words. With that, Sakura came out of her mental collapse and starts yelling, oh yeah, and who are you to talk about me like you know me? I have never met you before, you stupid idiot. Kyuubi laughs a little and then starts. Actually, Sakura, the kid and me came back from a little over 5 years in the future to try to change some disaster. Believe me, after all the happy and sad times we had to go through together, you may be surprised about some things. It's true, Sakura. From when we came from, all of our friend and most of our family has been killed during all the trouble. Kyuubi there gave me a chance to come back and change the orthogonal timeline. We have already started, but I am needing your help. Because of the friendship you and me developed over time, Kyuubi made a deal with you that I did not know of until recently. On a mission about 2 weeks before the destruction of Konoha, I was attacked by a very deadly mental genjutsu, and you entered my mind with your medic skill. Being the apprentice of Godaime Hokage Tsunade, the legendary medic nin, you were able to save me life. But what I did not know at the time that you were pregnant and wanted to make sure if something happened to you, your child would have a chance to know you. When you entered my mind you met QB. At which time I helped you heal the mental damage and why we worked on it we came to an agreement. I made a copy of all your knowledge and memories so I could give them to your child when it got older. Naruto's memories are only 3 months older than those before we had to come back. Naruto interrupted, Sakura, I am not asking you to have what feelings we had at that time, instead I am asking you to accept the memories so that you can help me save all of our friends and loved ones. If you accept Jiraiya and Tsunade who are on their way here would help train us even more. The change I mentioned earlier that has already taken place is so Sasuke stands a chance of not being killed for being so power hungry. That was the reason our team had to be split up for now. I know how you care for him and are probably mad at me for interfering in your life, but one life versus millions, it is something that had to be done. Hokage, can we give her about an hour her by herself to think about everything she heard before we ask her for a decision? I don't want to force her into this. Sakura, if you do not decide to get your future memories, I only ask for 2 things then. First, you cannot tell anyone anything you heard today, and the second I don't want to do but it may help save everyone. Let me be allowed to have your memory and knowledge that you gave QB, so maybe with that extra information we might change thing for the better. For what it is worth. I am sorry. And with that everyone left the office, but Ibiki came over to her before he left and said, I am leaving the silence seal up the whole time we are gone so you can talk to yourself or scream, and if you want to punch something the Hokage has a target dummy in the corner by the window. Sakura sat perfectly still in her chair thinking, well, I was wrong, this day did get worse and it is all thanks to the baka. I feel like I am just some type of chess piece right now. What should I do? I mean, yeah, I would like to know what is going to happen, but I do kind of like the idea of being a medic nin. I think I will do it, but the baka it going to have to give in also, so it's decided I will wait until he answers my request before I answer. Well, Sakura, have you made any decision yet or do you need more time? Asked the Hokage. I have made a decision, but I am going to wait to tell you. First I need to bargain with the baka first. Would you be willing to give me your memories also with mine, Naruto? Sakura asked, and Naruto looked at her sad for a few minutes and asked her, if I did give you all my memories it will be very painful for you. I have not always lived a happy life, some of my life would give you nightmares for the rest of your life. Could you live on with such awful memories? Would you live on or would you kill yourself? I would be willing to share everything with you, good and bad, but you should know there is no way to take them back. I wish I could pick and choose which ones you got, but it won't work that way. Naruto said sadly. Sakura thought it over for a little while and asked, alright, I agree to share my memories with you also. So how do we do this? Well, let's go to the hospital and we can do it there because you will be asleep about 3 days from the shock of all the information. QB said. Everyone went to the hospital after the Hokage sent word to Sakura mom that she would not be able to come home for a couple of days due to a mission. Once the Hokage had got a room set up, WTH 2 bed, and had one in each bed. Okay, here is what we need to do. You each need to have an IV connecting you together. I will do all the seals and your blood will mix to help transfer the memories, so you will have to hold hands and lay still. After I finish I will tell the Hokage and he can have someone heal your hands and Ibiki will guard you both until you both wake up, QB said. Naruto and Sakura did what he said and he started seals. After 200 seals they both screamed in pain and passed out. QB nodded to the Hokage and they disappeared in a puff of smoke. 1 day later. Kit, wake up. QB woke up inside the sewer that holds QB in the cage. After standing up he looks at the fox and asked, what do you want? How long was I out? The last thing I remember is we were getting ready to do the memory switch, now I find myself waking up here. QB looks at him and says, it has only been 1 day so far, but the reason I woke you up is because you are fixing to have company and she will wake up on her own. I did not want to frighten her when she sees me, so I thought you could meet her. If you go to the entrance to your mindscape, you will find her there. Naruto turns around and heads to where Kyuubi told him to go. After a few minutes he finds Sakura passed out on the ground, but she is restless, so you can tell she is about to get up. Sakura. Sakura, get up. Come on. Naruto taps Sakura on the shoulder trying to get her up. When Naruto finally notices she is awake, he helps her up, but something strange happens. There are two Sakuras. Sakura. This might be a dumb question, but why are there two of you? Naruto asks. That is because Baka, I am her inner personality, Mwahaha. Inner Sakura says, note from now on inner Sakura will be referred to as IP3. The other Sakura looks around for a second and says, okay, I admit I do have a second voice in my head and I can understand why there are two of me, but why are you here, Naruto, and where is here? Naruto just looks at them both, shakes his head and says, well, this is my mindscape where I can talk to Kyuubi. It has only been 1 day so far and Kyuubi told me I was going to have a visitor, so he told me to come meet you, so I guess you both might as well. IP3 is chewing on some popcorn, don't know where she got it, but if you watch the show she can pop things out of anywhere as she follow them and starts saying, are we there yet? 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 Until Naruto finally has enough and screams, give me the death god over this, can you ever shut up? Sakura, how do you put up with her? Which was the wrong thing to say because IP3 now has a hockey mask and a chainsaw crank and is saying, come here Baka, I think you need a haircut, Mwahaha. While she is stalking Naruto through the sewer, Sakura just shakes her head and tells Naruto, at least she's in a good mood today. You should see her when she gets moody. At this point Naruto face pales and gets on his knees and begs for forgiveness. After getting IP3 to calm down they make it to the Cubus cage and Sakura is a little scared until Naruto walks over and puts his arm around her and tells her he won't hurt her. Meanwhile IP3 walks up to the cage and says, hey furball, want to have some fun? I always want a fur coat and a couple of new pairs of shoes. I think those claws would make some good ones, Mwahaha. She says while pulling put a tomahawk and a skinning knife while looking at Kyuubi with a look of lust in her eyes that shows a person is totally psycho. Kyuubi backs up a little after looking at her and says, hey kid, if some part of her stays after this is over, do us both a favor and summon the death god to take us both. I am just glad this cage is here. I may be the most feared of all the demons, but she scares even me. Eeeepp. As IP3 tried to get into the cage while sharpening her blades. About an hour later, after IP3 threatened to give Kyuubi a sex change and Sakura finally got over her fear of Kyuubi enough to get IP3 to settle and somehow pull out 3 recliners, Naruto leans over to Sakura and asks, do you know where she gets all this stuff? I mean, she has to store it somewhere, right? Sakura looks at him and shrugs her shoulders, showing she doesn't know. At this point Kyuubi with a mohawk on his head thanks to IP3 is sitting with his tails between his paws and says, okay, I know we don't have much to do until the 3 days are up, so I thought I would show the two. I am and the 3 of you a few memory of what originally happened the first time around. Even though you will have both of your each memory, I will show you what I seen. But I will let you Sakura to pick what you want to know first. Sakura thought it over a few moments and then decided she might as well try to find out what happened to Sasuke, since she was in love with him so much. Show me everything that happened to my Sasuke. Kyuubi looks at Naruto first and sees the hurt on his face that does not go unnoticed by IP3, but Kyuubi shakes his head okay, and after a flash of red light everyone starts seeing every memory Kyuubi had about Sasuke. First he started with when they were in the academy, then he showed how the team's selection, then he showed the training, Sasuke insults, then he showed the mission to Wave. At this point Sakura is still dream-my-eyed, but IP3 is starting to look at things a little different. Next Kyubi showed the mission to tea and snow countries. Then they got to the Chunin exam, Lee beating Sasuke. Kabuto at the first exam, at which point Naruto lets a little growl come out, then they showed the Forest of Death and the Curse Mark, then the preliminaries, Gaara and then Shukaka, at which point Ip3 starts glancing at Naruto, Itachi, the fight on the roof, the promise of a lifetime, then Sasuke defection and the Valley of the Ends fight including Naruto almost dying. Sakura is starting to cry a little at this point but keeps watching, Ip3 is getting pissed off. Next they show another fight with Naruto and Sasuke, then showed Orochimaru in Sasuke body and him trying to kill them and eventually the death of the body. After that Sakura is in tears, Naruto gets up to try to comfort her and Sakura yells for him to leave her alone. After that she starts venting her anger at Naruto. Kyubi asks her, "What do you want to see?" No. Sakura still angry at Naruto want to hurt him for making her feel so bad for what he showed her and for messing with her life decides to use this chance to make him feel bad. Kyubi, I want to see every bad thing that happened to Naruto. I want to make him suffer like he just made me suffer. Ip3 steps up and says, "Are you sure that's?" She never got to finish because Sakura cuts her off. Kyubi looks over at Naruto Aegean and says, "Sorry kid, But Sakura cuts him off and demands for him to start. Sighing he starts. First he show Naruto in his dad's arm looking at his mom body where she died from childbirth. Then showed Kyubi being sealed, then an assassination attempt. Then the abuse from the orphanage, then living on his own at 4. The beatings, the glares, the abuse, the destruction of his belonging. More assassination attempts, starving, digging through garbage. A sense where Sakura is crying about 5 years old and Naruto goes over to help her and gives her a chance to impress the other kids by being mean to him instead of being mean to her. At this point Sakura is starting to feel a little bad. She remembered that a little bit, but Ip3 is furious at Sakura and the village. Naruto just looks on with an emotionalist face showing that he's seen worse. Next showed more abuse, the way parents made kids stay away from him. Then after more hatred it showed Naruto in the academy. Showed the teacher's abuse, tricking him with genjutsu so the classes would laugh at him, ingorning him, more assassination attempts, Mizuki, team selections where Sakura said she hated Naruto. Then Naruto henge like Sasuke and Sakura telling him why she hated Naruto, the team picking on him, more hate, Demon Brothers, Zabuza, Haku, Sasuke near death, Sakura telling him no, the loneliness, the exams, Sasuke, Akatsuki, Kyubi please stop, I don't want to show any more right now please. Naruto asked beggingly, "Sorry kid, I wish I could but unfortunately I am honor bound to finish. For what it is worth I am sorry," Kyubi said. Naruto looks defeatedly at Sakura and Ip3. He then gets up and walks out of the cage room slow. Ip3 walks over to where Sakura is and they both keep watching with sadness in the eyes and hearts. The next scene they saw was Naruto being forced to leave to train, his battles, death of friends, his near death, destruction of Konoha, the death of all the men, the final battle and the death of everyone and then Sakura's sacrifice, finally the glares and hate that he received since he came back. After everything was showed Sakura was unable to cry anymore and looked defeated because she did not know what to do. Ip3 on the other hand was busy burning all her Sasuke fan club poster and shirts and started working on designs for Naruto fan club. She also made shadow clones to set up target stumps for her and making them look like all of her future enemies with a look of bloodlust in her eyes. Sakura walks over to Kyubi cage and asks, was his life really that bad or was all of this some sick joke? Kyubi growls at her and says, "Look, what you saw was nothing compared to what he went through and he would almost never admit, but if you truly want to help go look for him. If you want to really know if it was that bad on him, look around, you know. You see this area how it is like a sewer. His experience in life changes the scenery and as you can see this place is not some nice meadow or a 5-star resort. Don't worry, you can't get lost, everything here leads back to either the entrance where you woke up or here. Go look for him and try to talk to him. You might be surprised. Sakura listened to Kyubi talk about Naruto with respect and started thinking, I did not know he had it that bad. I feel sorry for him. I was being a jerk earlier. It's true, the only thing I think about is Sasuke and I see where that got me. I don't know what I should do, maybe I should listen to the fox and go talk to him. I agree with that, and don't think I can hear your thoughts just because I am not inside your head, I am still a part of you, It3 said. Sakura looks over at her other self and is mad at first but calms down after seeing her point, so she heads out to try and talk to Naruto. Meanwhile in the hospital room, how do you think it's going, Hokage sir? Kakashi asks. The third says, I am not for sure, but, before he is interrupted by a knock at the door. Ibiki walks over to the door to check to see who it is. The third sent for a letter for me to come and I was told he was here. Jiraiya says as he is led into the room. After seeing who it is, the third goes over and starts saying, It's good to see you got my letter. I know this is unusual, but there has been something that has happened and I need your help. As I know you already know who the boy is and what his legacy is over there, pointing to Naruto in the bed and seeing him shake his head yes, well, believe it or not we got a second chance thanks to the Kyubi. Jiraiya looks at him like he is crazy and starts to say something, but the third interrupted him and continued, see that boy's body is only 12 but he is actually older than that, see Kyubi and him use a time travel jutsu to come back to try and change the past. He has told us about a war coming who are actually spies here, Orochimaru killing me, you teaching him Rasengan, summoning, bringing Tsunade back to be the fifth, how she treats him as a little brother, Akatsuki, the other sealed demons, the destruction of Konoha, and also he has shown us the reason for Cuba's attack, and based on that info, we were lucky. Okay, I can understand everything you say, but the attack by Kyubi. How can you say we were lucky? Jiraiya asks. Simple, read this scroll for summoning foxes he gave me before they began and look at the last two names, the third said as he handed the scroll to Jiraiya. After a few minutes of reading over the scroll and figuring out what happened, he asked, what do you mean they began and who is she, what's going on? The third smiled at that and says, if you also want to know what's going on Tsunade, you might as well come in that window. How long did you know I was out there? Tsunade asked as her and Shizune come in the window. Ever since you arrived before Jiraiya. Now let me go ahead and answer your question Jiraiya. See, her name is Sakura Haruno and believe it or not she was his fiancée from his future. Because she had to go into his mind and help Kyubi save his life once a few weeks before he came back, she let Kyubi keep a record of all her memories, knowledge and experience so in case something happened to her, he could give that knowledge to the child she was carrying at the time. Right now, she agreed to get her future memories to help us fight, but she also wanted his memories so that I am worried about. The reason I wanted both of you here is in the near future after I died you both took one of them as an apprentice, the third member of their team betrayed Konoha and joined Orochimaru to be trained so he could kill his brother Itachi, we are working on changing that already. Instead of be trained by Kakashi here, we have him training Sasuke one-on-one to make him think he is special and make it harder for Orochimaru to get his hands on his body. He finally figured a way to switch bodies and it is very dangerous for us, the third said. Back in the mindscape, Sakura was walking around the sewer in thought trying to figure out what she is going to say to him. While walking she hears someone crying and starts to follow the sound. When she finds Naruto he is sitting with his head between his knees crying softly. She feel bad and says, Naruto look but she is cut off as he jumped to his feet and turns his back away from her. Then after a moment of silence he says, don't worry about it Sakura, the past is the past and we are ninja, ninjas don't have emotions. We are weapons, being a ninja is not a job, it is what we are. I am sorry to cause you so much pain, if I could do it on my own I would. The last thing I ever wanted to do was hurt you. Goodbye, as he starts walking off. Sakura is at a loss for words, she is thinking, what do I do? I don't know anymore. I thought I loved Sasuke and I never really paid attention to Naruto. This is so hard, maybe I should go back to the fox and talk, he know Naruto better than I do. With that she starts to head back to the cage room. When she got back she got a surprise. Ip3 was treating the human version of Kyubi to a candlelight dinner. That's it. I cannot take it anymore. Where the hell are you getting all of this stuff and why are you having a candlelight dinner with the fox? Sakura asked. Ip3 responded by saying, well, you can't have all the fun with Gias, besides he's sweet if you get to know him. Besides, if you would have asked to see Naruto favorite moments you might find out you like him. Now where were we? Kyubi just looked at Ip3, gave her a wink and asked, do you think she would want to see what I showed you? Ip3 smiled an evil grin, pulled out a bucket of popcorn, handed it to Sakura and Sayed. Watch the show. Me and Q are going to walk around. Enjoy. And with that Ip3 put her arm around Cubus and they took of walking while a video started playing overhead. The next day in Mindscape, Sakura had been looking for Naruto for a few hours now and was trying to come to terms with her feelings. The only thing she has decided on is that they were going to talk and maybe give him a chance at a date to try it out. She starts noticing the area she is walking into has changed from the usual sewer to that of a small forest. After walking in the forest a little while she comes up on a small meadow beside a sees a large stone off to one side of the meadow and decides to sit on it to rest a little while. When she got on top of the stone and was looking around she notices someone floating on top of the lake. She stayed there and watched him for a little while trying to sort through her feeling. Suddenly the lake disappeared and the woods returned to sewer as Naruto woke up. Sakura, I know you're there. You might as well come out of hiding, I can smell the cherry blossom from your perfume. Naruto said as he sat up and laid against a wall. Sakura walked over and sat down beside him and said, that was a very lovely scenery. Is it a real place or just something you imagined? Naruto looks at her for a moment and said, it was a real place. I was just dreaming about something. So what brought you here? I mean beside the memory transfer. Sakura looks at him and says, I don't know, I felt bad about, you know. Naruto starts looking at the ground. I see, don't worry about it. There is no reason to worry about it. You know, I probably should have just tried this by myself and not gotten you involved. I am sorry, I did not mean to hurt you. Naruto said as he stood up and started to walk away. Naruto, stop. Sakura yelled as she got to her feet and walked over to him. Listen, I don't want you to walk away from me right now. I could use some company. This is a lot to take in at one time and I just don't know what to do or. Anyway, I was wondering, can you do that Aegean with the scenery change Aegean? Sakura said. After Naruto changed the scenery back to the way it was earlier, he walked over to the edge of the water and after a bright flash his clothes changed into nothing but a pair of swimming trunks, then he walked into the water and started to swim. Sakura saw him do this and walked to the edge of the water and yelled, show off. I don't have a swimsuit so I can't swim, and then she crossed her arms and started tapping her left foot. Naruto saw this, a laugh a second, then said, while we are in a mindscape like this, anything you have a memory of you can change your clothes and or appearance to show it. That is how I change the environment and my clothes. I tell you what, I will turn around and let you give it a try and I won't turn around until you say I can, okay? At this point Naruto turned around in the water away from Sakura and she walked behind a tree and tried it. To her surprise it worked and now she was wearing the two-piece swimsuit she always wore at the hot springs. After seeing everything was cover and nothing to revealing, she went and slowly got into the water to swim. After she was neck deep she told Naruto he could look now. They swam for what seemed like hours, not saying a word until they both got out of the water and sat on the shore. After a little bit they change back to their original clothes and Naruto asked, "Are you hungry?" Seeing Sakura shake her head yes, he closed his eyes and after a few seconds two Caesar salads with ranch dressing appeared in Naruto's hand. He handed one to Sakura and said, "Enjoy. I know it's one of your favorites because you like to look your best." Naruto changed the scenery to the top of the Hokage monument at sunset and they sat on the fourth's head sitting quietly. After they finished eating Naruto started feeling tired Aegean so he asked, "Are you tired? I could change the area Aegean so that you have your own bed to sleep." Sakura looked at him confused but shook her head okay. After another flash of light the area changed Aegean to that of a two-bedroom log cabin. "I trained here for 2 months during my 3-year training away from Konoha. If you want to freshen up before laying down there is a nice bathroom fully stocked. I am going to change and go to sleep. Aegean, I am sorry for having to hurt you by doing this. You should probably wake up in your own body tomorrow with the memories but you might have one heck of a headache." Naruto said sadly. Sakura had just finished showering and changing into some sleep clothes when she heard Naruto crying. She slowly went to his room and looked inside. She saw two Narutos. One was in a bed crying in his sleep while the other was beat badly with a hole in his chest. Sasuke was standing over him gloating saying something about he would do anything for power so he can kill his brother even if he had to give his body away to some bloodthirsty madman. Then there was another flash and Naruto was standing at the gates of Konoha and an older Sakura is telling Naruto how she told Sasuke she loved him and he still left and Naruto made a promise of a lifetime to bring him back for her. Then it flashed to Naruto in the hospital talking to some tall woman telling her he had to get out of the hospital so he could keep his promise to Sakura. Then it flashed to some 30 villagers attacking him saying it was his fault as a demon that Sasuke left. Then once more the scenery changed and Sasuke is holding Sakura hostage and Naruto called him Oric something and said he would sacrifice himself as long as she did not get hurt. Then Sasuke charged a black lightning attack in one hand and a sword came out of his mouth and flew toward Naruto stabbing him in the stomach. Then Sasuke hit Sakura in the back of the head and charged Naruto. A white-haired man jumped in front of Naruto and took the strike. Naruto had a red glow come around him and attack Sasuke. They fought for what seemed like hours and then Naruto was able to kill him by grabbing the sword that hit him in the stomach earlier and cut Sasuke's head off. Then he did a massive fire and wind attack and destroyed the body. Then there was another flash and Naruto was back at the place where they swam earlier but this time Naruto was pushing the stone Sakura had first set on over a grave for the white-haired man. Next he carved a name that said Jiraiya, friend, teacher, father figure, leader and super ultra pervert, may all the beautiful woman in heaven be at the hot spring you visit. After that he walk over and picked up a sleeping Sakura and carry her off. Then it flashed to a hospital room and a sleeping Sakura laying in bed and the tall woman from earlier is crying on the floor next to Naruto. With that Naruto stopped crying and turns over in bed and the room is back to the way it was. Sakura closes the door and goes to her room and tries to sleep. Eventually she falls asleep. She woke up a little later hearing Naruto calling her name so she runs to his room and sees he at a fetal position on his bed crying. She can't take him suffering anymore so she runs over to his bed and holds him. He calms down after a few minutes and stutters, Sakura, what are you doing here? He says with a confused look on his face. She sees how sad he is and her heart is breaking. She leans in and whispers, it's okay I am here for you, don't worry you won't be alone Aegean, I promise. I love you Naruto-kun. With that she leans into a romantic embrace and kisses him. While they are kissing a bright flash appears consuming both of them.